So good evening and welcome to the launch of the Complex Quest of Riley Read. My name is Melanie and I'll be helping things move along for this evening. And thank you to everyone who's joined us tonight. We're celebrating the release of the ebook today on Amazon. It's available now for $2.99, down from $9.99. And since this is the first week, the more sales that we can get on Amazon, the better. So your support would have a huge impact on the book's success. If you come away from tonight inspired, please consider getting your own copy. And if you take a look at the agenda for tonight, you can see all of the wonderful illuminating things that we have planned. We'll be hearing from both the author Daniel Stewart and the illustrator Christopher Whitehead about how this book came to be and the process each of them undertook to get where we are today. And we want to hear from you. We'll be having discussions and prizes throughout the evening. So for more about that, let's shift over to Lisa.
Hi, welcome. I am Lisa Stewart Whitehead, and I will be monitoring. I'm your chat monitor for the evening. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. And also I'll be posing some questions that you can answer in the chat. And so I look forward to reading some of your responses. And now to Daniel to give us an introduction.
All right, hey, what's going on, guys? Let's see. So is our slide still up? Should I be up?
I can remove it.
Yeah, whatever works. So let's see. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Technology. It's wonderful. I love it. What's going on, guys? Thanks for being a part of our launch. So it's first book launch. So we're trying to make this as smooth and as fun as possible. But thank you for being here. It's from many of your efforts that Riley Read is kind of spreading, and the word is getting out there, which is super important. So first things first, we have a visual metaphor thing we're going to be doing tonight. So the book has a lot of visual metaphors in it. You can kind of see over my shoulder here. Actually, I think we have some slides to put up. Do we have those? Yeah, so we have here's a family living in a box, and there we go, kind of sort of Mother Earth metaphor there. So, as I was writing the book and working with Christopher, we really wanted to, here's going on that endless circle. One person's chasing money, one person's chasing prestige, and they're going on that infinity symbol there. So, the visuals help give kids, a window into some of these harder to understand concepts. So we're going to do like a walkthrough of this a little bit later on. And so what I want you guys to be thinking about now is a metaphor that Christopher and I are going to sort of brainstorm, and we're going to draw this right here on camera. So it could be something like, the grass is always greener on the other side, but don't use that one because I just said it, that'd be cheating. So if you can all think about that, we'll come back to you a little bit later on and we'll ask you to type it in. And then right now we are going to play just a 1-minute teaser. So if you haven't seen the video, my friend Mike Alfonso did this amazing video. It's a 10-minute long video, but it really goes into some of the backstory, why Christopher and I decided to do this book, and the purpose of it, what it's for, what we're trying to accomplish. So it's a really cool video that is on RileyReadBook.com if you haven't seen it. And then Mike's URL, MichaelAlfonsoVisuals.com, just does amazing work. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into that video really quick. This is only a minute, and it'll give people some time to jump on who haven't joined us yet.
The real heart of the book is questioning life. Riley's taking this inward journey and really coming up against some of the tough questions that we all face. So the book is this inner quest that Riley has to go through, and it parallels a journey that I think we all go through. Hi, I'm Daniel Stewart, author of Riley Read.
I'm Christopher Whitehead, illustrator.
Riley Read is a book, the real heart of the book is questioning life and finding value in the things that are happening in life. And we really do that in 3 ways in the complex quest of Riley Red. First, it's what do you do with varying viewpoints? How do you navigate that landscape? 2 is working through fear to find value on the other side. And 3 is, what is the purpose of the storms that we encounter in our lives? Those really big traumatic events that lay us low. What's the point? Where's the value?
All right.
Okay. Thank you for that. So to make this happen, it really was a team effort. It wasn't just Daniel and I. And to get the word out there, we developed a launch team. And a launch team is a group of people that work together to help promote the book and get the word out there that this book has been created and that it's interesting and get people to look at it. I'd like to acknowledge some people. If you're on the launch team, I'm going to ask you to unmute and just introduce yourself. And one quick word about yourself. Who are you? How do you know the book? How do you know us, etc. Let's see. So Dale's on the launch team. Can you just introduce yourself real quick? Sorry, I took you by surprise. I didn't tell anybody they were going to talk. So if you know you're on the launch team, be ready to unmute.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dale. I am Lisa's mother and Christopher and Dan's mother-in-law. And I'm so very excited and proud of them.
Thank you. Let's see. Carol? Can you reach it?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Carol Vipon. I'm Christopher's mom, and I was on the launch team. I loved, I got to pre-read it also. So I loved doing that also. And I think it's an amazing story. I'm very proud of both the guys.
Thank you. Let's see, launch team people. Linda, you're on the launch team, right?
I don't think she's here, but your sister is.
Oh, Jennifer. I see her. Okay. Can you introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Jennifer. I'm Christopher's sister. And I was also part of the launch team, and I'm a 2nd grade teacher, and I'm actually looking forward to sharing this book with my class.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so Greg says he's driving. We're going to skip him. Let's see, is Charles here? Did he make? I can't see everybody, I don't think. All right, is there anybody? Yes?
Joan Lee.
Joan?
My grandma.
Yep.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Yes, I'm Joan Lee. I'm Melanie's grandmother, and I met Daniel not too long ago, and I had to order the book right away. You could see, and I just finished it, and I loved it. So I had to just come on this this meeting and talk about and hear about this book. I think it's wonderful, and
Great.
I thank you for letting me come in.
Thank you. Was there anybody else on the launch team that hasn't introduced?
Hey, can you hear me? This is Charles. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Charles.
Hey, I'm driving and I really can't hear a thing, so I'm probably going to drop. I'm really sorry.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. I'm at a traffic light, so I heard. Is there anybody else there? I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, we are recording this, so we could share it with you afterwards.
All right, sounds good. I'm
Wonderful.
sorry. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Charlie.
I do want to say real quick, they're not part of the launch team, but we did dedicate this book to our children. We have 4 children between us, Caitlin and Colin, and Max and Vivian. And I believe Caitlin and Vivian are both on this call, and the book is dedicated to them. So Caitlin, Vivian, can you introduce yourselves real quick?
Who wants to go first?
You go first, Caitlin.
Okay, sure. Hi, I'm Caitlin.
She's one of the daughters.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then Vivian, are you still on?
Hi, I'm Vivian.
My other daughter. Okay, thank you, girls. Okay, is it time for a drawing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I've put some names in this lovely red can. And our first drawing is a print of the maintenance man, which Dan has. Oh, here we go. Christopher's going to show us.
I think. Nope.
Wait for it, wait for it.
Yeah. You see it?
I see it.
Okay.
Yep. So this is going to be a signed print that will be mailed to you of the maintenance man. And our winner is Miss Jennifer.
Jennifer Bleacher?
No, Jennifer De Bernardis.
Okay.
Thank you.
We know her as Miss Jennifer.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. All right, so I will sign that and get that in the mail.
Great.
Awesome, awesome. All right, good deal. So let's see. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the writing process, and I'm going to read just a few pages here.
Do we want to start, Daniel? I think we had a question for the chat, or are we skipping that for now?
No, I'm putting that in the
no,
chat
you're right.
right
We did
now.
have a question.
Okay.
So we have a question. If you could answer in the chat, that would be great. And those of you that have read it, we would like to know your opinion. So do you believe that Riley was male or female, and why?
Not the kind of question you
can...
usually get with the book, is it?
Yes, that's right. And so you can give your answers in the chat, and I will call out some of those answers later.
All right, cool. So, yes, I'm going to do like a little reading here, and just a few pages. And you know, the whole writing of this book was a really interesting process. You know, a lot of you know I'm a metal sculptor by profession, and you know, it's interesting to tackle this medium. And it was interesting how similar it was to working with you know, metal or clay. You know, oftentimes when I'm creating something, I don't really know what it's going to look like exactly. It's sort of like a blurry idea of where I want to go. So, you know, my metal work is kind of wild and crazy things. So I make dragons and robots and all kinds of fantasy stuff. You know, so I might know that I want to make a dragon, but I don't know exactly how that's going to be. And I just start cutting and welding and banging things out. And then this dragon sort of emerges from the steel. And it always looks better if I just go with the flow as opposed to trying to iron out some kind of blueprint that I stick to. And the book was really the same way. You know, I had this idea. I knew I wanted to get some of these heavier concepts across. I just didn't know how I was going to do it in a story form. So, you know, it was really as I was writing, the characters sort of emerged, and I didn't know what they were going to do or what they were going to say until I wrote it down. And, you know, that whole process was about 4 months, starting in March. So it was kind of right as COVID hit us, which was just sort of coincidental. I didn't write this because of COVID, but it worked out that way. And, you know, one of the really fun things in the book, you know, Riley has these imaginary sequences where, you know, I had to figure out how am I going to word it so that I'm pulling the reader into this sort of fantasy dreamscape. So this is one of those, one of my more favorite pieces here. This is Riley being introduced to Mr. COVID, which I had to name him COVID as a throwback for, you know, when this was written. And, you know, he's a businessman. He doesn't really care too much about people. And, you know, he uses what he needs to, it does what he needs to do to get money in his pocket. And so Riley comes to his door and he's having this argument over the phone with one of his employees. And you can tell he did something unscrupulous and doesn't really care that the employee is, or that the client isn't happy. He just wants the money. So he's going back and forth over the phone. Riley's standing there in the doorway, and that's where we picked this up. So I'm going to go ahead and just read a few pages. And Christopher will show the images there on the screen if you want to follow along. While he continues on the phone, he reaches over and flips a switch on an odd-looking machine with a large dome on top and shiny hoses sticking out. It rumbles and hisses like an angry cat. He turns a few more pages in the binder and interjects a "No, Lenny," here, and "I don't think so," there. Without taking his eyes off the pages, he pulls the tiny cup off the shelf and sticks it into the vibrating machine. With more hissing and a little spitting, it begins to pour out a thick black liquid which slowly fills the tiny cup. It feels very odd to be standing at the door with no instructions on what to do. I'm not even sure if this is Mr. COVID. I take a few steps into the entryway to see if the maintenance man is anywhere in sight, but I don't spot anyone. The apartment is open and filled with dark black furniture which stands out against the bright white walls. Large framed paintings, obviously not Mr. Basil's work, and a variety of interesting objects are placed around the room. There are old vases, different kinds of balls covered in signatures, and a few small cars that look like someone took a real car and shrunk them down somehow. Each item is covered in a square glass box and lit from above with its own single spotlight. If this place could talk, it would say, "Keep your hands in your pockets, kid. Don't touch anything." The noisy machine lets out a spit and a belch as it continues filling the tiny cup at what seems like an extremely slow pace. "They're a problem, Lenny, not mine." My eyes are drawn over to the center of the room where a massive painting is hanging over a bright white fireplace. It seems out of place here. Mr. COVID, if that's who this is, still has his back turned and continues to yell on the phone. I take a couple of steps forward to get a better look at the painting. It's very dark with what looks like someone laying down at the bottom. I can't tell if it's a person or something else. The rest of the room begins to fade as I look deeper into the painting. Yes, it is a person, I think. That looks like an arm they're holding up, and I can make out a leg. Looks like they're lying on a large rock or something. I can't quite see the face, so I step a little closer. Sometimes people get hurt. Welcome to the real world. I can see only parts of the body, like it's being lit by one small torch from somewhere up high. Wait, there's a face under the raised arm. I can only see part of it. This person is looking up at something big. Above the arm is blackness, and then lots of red. What is this? I feel myself being pulled into the painting as the loud noises of the machine begin to slow to a muffled crawl. The sound of an ancient drumbeat emerges with each resounding drip into the tiny cup, and a sinking feeling begins to come over me again. Beneath the red of the painting, something huge steps out from the blackness. It looks like the head of some great beast. Let me tell you something, Lenny. There are two kinds of people in the world, wolves and sheep. Wolves eat the sheep. The great beast is a wolf. Yes, I can see it now, rising out of the dark. It's the top of a wolf's head with teeth protruding downward. Let's see, wait, something's not right. The shape is too tall to be a wolf. Where's the bottom jaw? Something's definitely not right. Slowly, the wolf's head raises, and the flickering orange glow of flames erupts from the depths. Hello? Okay, let's see. Erupt from the depths. My heart melds with the dripping machine to fill my ears with a booming savagery. Beneath the wolf's teeth is a crooked human nose, and above only darkness where the eyes should be. The wolf is only a skin pulled tight over this large man's head. The drumming gets louder and deeper as the giant emerges from the emptiness. A long white beard pours forth and enters into the firelight. My eyes follow the beard down and fall in a ring of old and rusted keys. A voice screams out from the shadows and fades into the drone of the drums. The strong eat the weak. That's the way it's always been. It's the maintenance man. I try to look away, but I can't leave. The drums grow louder while more cries echo from the dark. Beneath the cape made of wolf hide and worn red leather, a large axe emerges. Quickly, I look down to the person lying on the rock. They are scared and holding up one bare arm for protection. The axe rises as the giant finds himself in striking distance. Just then, the figure turns towards me. My body feels like ice as I find myself looking at my own painted face. I'm staring into my own huge, fear-filled eyes. I step back, and the pull of the painting loses its hold on me. I force another step backwards, and then another, and another. Suddenly, I'm shocked back into the present moment as the phone is thrown onto the counter. Idiots! The noisy machine finishes filling the cup and then rumbles to a halt with one last hiss. I take one more step backwards and feel something press into my back. and hear a loud thud against the wall behind me. Mr. Covid turns, a little startled, and looks at me sharply. Glancing over my shoulder, I see an old vase with white wolves painted on it pressed between me and the wall. I quickly move and position the vase back onto the middle of the small table. All right, we'll end it right there.
Great, thank you. We have some answers to our question, do we believe Riley was male or female? Caitlin said, I would say female because I guess I felt that way because I'm a girl and it was easier to see from that perspective. Marcus says that he doesn't know because there are both masculine and feminine qualities and traits of Riley. And Logan says male because most creative characters are male. Interesting, Logan. And Catherine says that she thought Riley was a male, but looking back, she doesn't think that that was any specific reference to gender in the book. And both the author and illustrator did a very good job of making sure there was no specific reference to gender in the book. But she thinks she may have thought that because usually there are fewer gender descriptors for male characters, or she may have thought that because the author and the artist were male. And she has to think about why she made that assumption. So thank you.
That's interesting. I think Riley was always a girl to me because I have 3 girls. So when I read it, I think of my girls who are actually, 2 of them are here right now, I think. So let's move on to the illustrative process and hear from Christopher.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. I'm Christopher. So this had kind of a different approach to the illustration process as far as illustrating books go. Daniel had completed the writing of the book pretty much, 99% done before we started discussing the illustration of the book. And I think traditionally artists will read the book and come up with ideas and present those ideas to the writer. Instead, we took all of the text, the entire book, and dropped it into a program, into PageMaker, and went line by line, page by page, and said to each other, what can we illustrate here? What pictures can we make that would go with this text? And I'm not sure if you noticed, but we also very carefully incorporated how the text flowed around the images. Actually, while I'm talking, I'm just going to go ahead and reshare the screen because you might as well be looking at a picture while I talk about this. So we took the time to actually make sure that the text, like I said, flowed around the images. And so this process was very fun because we made sure that it incorporated it very well, but it was very time consuming because like I said, we had to sit side by side and read a couple lines and say, okay, what if we drew this? What if we drew that? And then he'd be sketching on his sketchbook, I'd be sketching on my sketchbook, and we'd be throwing ideas back and forth and character design back and forth. And then we'd have to come up with a consensus and then start illustrating a final image. We started out with traditional pen and paper. We would do the paper sketch, scan that into the computer, and then, Dan would scan that, send it to me, I'd print that, and then I'd use that to a final inked version. And then about halfway through the book, we switched to more of a digital process. We were already doing some of the special effects in digital. So then towards the end, I switched literally to all the inking in digital just to cut out a step. It was a little bit faster. So, but it was a very cool process, although it was time consuming. It took us about 5 months, I'd say, of him coming over and whenever we could just sit down and get a couple pages banged out. I don't think it's, like I said, the traditional way to do it, but it really worked. For 2 creatives to get together and come up with the visuals together, I think was a really cool way of doing it. So we're going to illustrate some of that, how that works when we do the metaphor activity in a few minutes. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, we have another question for the chat. So, who was your favorite tenant and why? And we have an image of all the tenants that we're going to show. Okay, so those of you that know some of our tenants, if you could tell us who was your favorite tenant and why, and we'll come back to your answers later.
Okay, so in the beginning, Daniel mentioned visual metaphors, And now is also the time to go ahead and enter your responses in. And Lisa will read them out as they come in. So if you missed what that was about, what you want to do is think of an abstract concept that can be represented as a visual, and go ahead and give us your thoughts. Lisa, what do we have so far?
Nothing yet. They're still thinking. But Dan's example was the grass was always greener on the other side. And then we had some of visual of Miss Holly. She's very earthy. And so we were able to, Christopher was able to turn her into having lots of things around her that reminded you of the earth and the planet.
So should we do another drawing while we wait for...
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, ready?
What is this for? Is this for a signed copy of the book?
For a signed copy of the book. And Carol Vipond.
Huh. Yay!
Hey, Carol.
Yay. All right, so let's see. Dale says, don't judge a book by its cover.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Got any others?
I think Nan's typing something.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, Jonah says, love is the glowing vines that wrap around the heart.
Nice.
I love that. Catherine says, stuck between a rock and a hard place.
That's a good one.
Barbara says, two best friends are two peas in a pod.
We got some good ones.
Any others? Caitlin says, in a pickle.
That's a funny one.
Okay, we'll give
What are you thinking, Dan?
Another 30 seconds.
Let's see.
Any final ones?
I'm trying to think of something specific to, that I could do with Riley, maybe.
Lacey's got, she's as cute as a button.
Cute as a button. Yeah. Got some good ones.
Barbara's also got, laughter is the music of the soul.
Good.
Jennifer says, quick as a flash.
You guys are good. A lot of metaphors.
Let's see. There's one jumping.
Right, how are we going to pick?
I liked the love is the glowing vines that wrap the heart.
Okay, that was Jonah. Love is the glowing vines that wrap around the heart. Marcus also votes for Jonah's.
All right, what do you think,
So I
Dan?
think we should go with that.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that everyone could vote. Sweet.
All right, so,
in the chat, he voted.
Cool. All right, yeah. Let's do it.
So if the rest of you mute your microphones, then as Daniel and I talk, it'll jump back and forth between him and me, or you can pin one or both of our hands. We're both going to be drawing at the same time and talking at the same time. So just follow along the best you can. We won't do this for very long. We'll just take, 5-10 minutes to work it out, or less than that, sorry. So go ahead and mute if you haven't.
All right.
So Daniel, are you thinking like an anatomically correct heart? Or are you thinking like the traditional symbol of a heart?
Well, I was definitely thinking like Miss Holly, since that sounds like it would work with her character, right?
Okay, so Miss Holly. I get that. So yeah, the vines, right? Because she's the plant, she's the plant person.
Yeah, let's see here.
So love is the glowing vines, was the phrase, I think. So if we're doing Miss Holly is the character, maybe she's holding the heart, but it needs to be vines that wrap around another heart, right?
It's wrapping one heart, right? It's like the vines wrapping around one heart.
Oh, what if the vines had heart-shaped leaves?
Well, that'd be cool, especially with the color red in the book, because then the only thing that we read would be the hearts on the vines.
Right.
That'd be sweet.
So we could do the gloved hands. Remember how she was holding the earth with her gloved hands?
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm thinking, like gloved hands, and then she's. I mean, I was thinking maybe holding a heart, but you wouldn't want an anatomical heart because that'd be a little too creepy.
That's a little creepy. little too creepy for this book.
Dan, move yours up. Thank you. We couldn't see the bottom.
So what if she's holding a little pile of hearts and then vines are growing out of them and the vines have little heart-shaped leaves on them? Does that get the point across?
Let's see. She's holding a bunch of hearts.
I love drawing Miss Holly. She has such crazy hair.
Yeah, I always pictured her as the lady from Harry Potter with the big thick glasses and the crazy hair.
Mm-hmm. What if they had? Sorry, what if we had like roots coming down between her fingers, like they're looking or something? Or is that too messy? That gets pretty messy.
I see her like holding like a flower pot.
Oh, right. Yes. So if she's holding a flower pot.
I mean, you could have like the heart coming out of the flower pot, and then maybe like there's like the tree is coming out, or the plant is coming out of the heart.
Okay.
And then so you got your heart leaves all over that.
Yeah, I do like the heart-shaped leaves.
And then of course you have to have vines because that's the whole thing. The vines are, what was it? They're glowing, right?
Oh, right, glowing. So when I illustrate that part, I'll use a little bit of white around each one.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It really has like a little glow to it. That'll look good on the brown paper. Oh, I like the way she's holding that. That's a good idea. So we've got our hands wrapped around like this. And then you think she's looking at the audience, looking at Riley, or is she looking down into the flower pot?
Well, she could be looking down, and then the radiance from those vines could be illuminating her face. That would be.
Oh, right. So it's like do some shadowing on her forehead. So it's like she's being bottom lit. Okay. So as you guys can see, this is how we work out the process. It takes a lot of sketching, a lot of different ideas, and you have to practice different notions. So she's got kind of skinny, scrawny arms, right? She's kind of a skinny person.
Yeah.
She has such a skinny neck. Okay. So I'm going to have her hold it. When I draw the final version, I'm going to have it a little bit lower.
I don't know, you might want my version. I mean, I can't really see yours because it's so small, but I'm just going to go on a limb and say mine's probably way better.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Christopher, can you hold yours up closer to the camera? And if you pin, that's good. And just scoot it over a little bit, yeah. If you pin his box, you can see it bigger on your screen.
I think I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the final paper.
Cool. How are we doing on time? Oh, I think you're muted.
Right.
Oh, there we go. There you are.
We're doing pretty well, but we could probably move on to the last discussion question.
Okay, so In the chat, Marcus said that Mr. Basil is his favorite character because he enjoys making art. And a quote of his that he really enjoys is, "Everywhere you look, you only see possibilities." So thank you, Marcus, for that. And Logan says, "Oh my God, that looks amazing."
Oh,
about your drawing. Okay. So we have one final question in the chat. What was your biggest takeaway from the book? Your biggest takeaway. So those of you that have read it, you could just tell us what your biggest takeaway from the book was.
All right. And see, how's that drawing coming along? That's my drawing.
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong one.
You have to pin Christopher's. Can you all see Christopher's drawing?
You might have to look for it to do it. I'll make sure I show it at the end.
Okay, everyone's thinking of their biggest takeaway? We're also going to post the final drawing on the blog and Facebook and Instagram. So you get to see the final drawing there. All right, and I think, Dan, you are next with what is next?
What is next? Yeah. So, well, I mean, hopefully, the idea is that Riley Red is going to be a series. So I'm already working on book 2 now in my head. The cogs are turning. And so, the hope is that next December, I'm thinking the next book in the saga is going to be revealed. And, the idea is that this series grows with your child. So, as your child gets older, Riley Red is getting older as well. And, the concepts are going a little deeper, and, we're still going to keep that sort of creepy sort of theme. So there's a lot of that in the works right now. And then I'm also working on a companion book, actually. And Greg, who's with us, he turned me onto this idea. Amazing life coach. The man is brilliant. But he turned me onto this, and I thought it was a great idea to do a companion guide along with Riley Red to really help people actualize some of the concepts that are in it. So I'm thinking about doing it. Half the book is for kids, half the book is for adults. And the idea is that you read this companion book, and it gives you questions to ask, and it gives you sort of a roadmap to follow to sort of get to the heart of some of these things. And it's really just to evoke conversations. So I'm in the process now of working on that. And then within the complex quest of Riley Red, there's a story within a story. It's called The Storm. And Christopher and I are actually working on that as well. Do you want to tell them about that, Christopher?
Sure. The Storm, like Daniel said, is kind of a story within a story. It's a little story about a boy and how he deals with some of the storms that come to his into his world, how he deals with stress and strife. It's illustrated a little bit differently, so you'll notice it in the book when you get to it. There's a shift in the way that it's drawn, but then also we're going to take that style and kind of expand on that for this companion book that we're writing. So it's going to be a lot more visuals. It's more of a children's book than Riley Red is. The Storm is written for some younger audiences, and it'll have a lot more visuals. We're having a lot of fun creating these visuals. We're working almost solely digital this time. We're doing a lot of the rough sketches. Daniel's doing, actually. He's doing almost all the rough sketches, and then passing them to me, and I'm making some of the final artistic decisions and making final inked versions of some of his visuals. So it's really an exciting process. And we do have a little video here to show you if we're ready for that. Is that okay?
Good.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Here we go.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll be laying the text after the fact there and plunking that in. That's been a fun process. I can draw these ideas out and then pass it to Christopher for all the tedious work.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see that come together. I don't think I've seen most of those pictures yet. Yeah, and the storm, I mean, it's just such a relevant story to everyone, I think.
Yeah, that was really the biggest, that really was the story that started the entire thing. You know, and the idea being, you know, these things that lay you low and just really tear you down in life. You know, they're hard to make sense of, you know, foundation cracking events, I call them, because they kind of screw up your idea of what's going to happen in the future. They make you question what happened in the past, and you're just kind of left there not knowing what to do. So that whole piece is really about that idea, like what's the value in that? What's the point? Because, you know, there is value in that.
Yeah. Well, and that brings us to our last prize of the evening, which is a signed copy of The Storm.
Yeah, so let's see here. Greg Zamamos.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Yay, good job, Greg. And we'll let you gift that to Marcus if you'd like. And in the chat, Marcus said that he feels like a big takeaway was the book showed me what life must have been like for a kid like Riley and showed the struggles in a fun and cool way. Greg said that a reminder of what it was like to be a child going through very challenging times. Marlene thought that the companion book was a really cool idea. Lacey liked I believe that was the drawing, right? The sped up drawing. Thank you, Lacey. And Greg said, sorry, yay, he's keeping it.
Well,
we have one more prize, right?
Oh yeah, we have one more prize. Go ahead, Christopher.
So this drawing, I don't know if you guys can see it yet. It's not done, obviously. I've been working on it as we've been talking. So I'm going to finish illustrating this visual metaphor, and it's going to go to whoever came up with it. Was it Jonah?
Jonah.
Okay, so Jonah, we're going to send you this drawing when I'm done with it. It obviously needs a lot more work still. I started indicating some of the glowing love from the vines, etc. But it's going to need some work. And then once this is finished, I will send it off to you. Congratulations.
What if Jonah wants my drawing instead?
Well, he could have yours too. That's fine.
What do you want, Jonah?
Well, awesome. Well, this concludes our proceedings for tonight. Thank you guys for coming, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you'd like a copy of the ebook, it's available on Amazon again for a limited time for $2.99. And we just wanted to say thank you guys so much for coming and for giving us your support and time. And then we have one last thing from Daniel.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Melanie and Lisa, for helping us out, making this whole thing come together. And of course, all you who are with us here tonight. Truly couldn't do it without you. I could do all the advertising on the planet. It really wouldn't matter. You know, there's so much out there. You know, it really takes true fans of the book to sort of spread the word and talk about it, talk about the message. You know, let their friends, family know, and you know that's really what it's all about. So thank you guys for your support, for being here. Again, if you haven't seen the full video, you can check that out on the website. You can see it there on the screen, RileyReadBook.com. Also Instagram, Facebook, you can follow us there. You know, the more followers we have, the better, the easier it is to be seen. So if you'd like to follow us there, that'd be awesome. And yeah, I think that's I think Lisa was going to put up a link to the video.
I did. I put the full YouTube link in the chat, and also the RileyReadBook.com is also in the chat. And then if anyone wants to stay on, they can have Q&A with the author and illustrator. If you have any questions, you want to unmute and ask them yourselves.
Good deal.
Can I ask Christopher if he's illustrated a book before this?
Yes, that's a very good question. I have been in several, probably about a dozen anthologies of various short stories. I have not illustrated a book to this level. This book is what, 100 and I want to say 109 pages, and every single spread had at least one drawing on it, sometimes two. So this was a lot more drawing than most of the anthologies I've been in. And a lot of the anthologies I've been in have been more of a comic book style. This, I was trying to stick a little bit more with, it still has a comic book feel to it, but I'm sticking a little bit more with kind of an a childlike drawing. Some of these characters are pretty characterized, and you know, trying to keep it light and from the viewpoint of a pre-adolescent was the idea. This book was done with that lens in mind.
114 pages.
114 pages.
Yeah. I really like the, you know, when we were sitting down drawing this up, you know, originally it was sort of all black and white, and I liked the parchment paper look. I did that on the last poetry book I did, and I thought that was a cool look. So we were doing that, and then you know, Christopher starts putting in red tones and says, "Hey, what do you think of that?" And it was perfect for Riley Red. Originally, Riley Red wasn't Riley Red. Riley Red was it Riley
Johnson?
Jones?
Jones.
I think it was Riley Jones.
Yeah.
I think, and I looked up the name, and Riley Jones is like a reporter for some big magazine or something, and I was like, well, I can't do that. So then, yeah, Riley Red was cool, and then you know, at the same time, he's putting in red highlights here and there. So I was like, oh, that's perfect, you know, that's because now Riley is seeing a reflection back from the people she's talking to. So you see these red tones in the scene, and that's, you know, it's sort of what's a visual metaphor that like Riley is seeing a reflection. So yeah, it's cool.
Marcus asked in the chat, what inspired you guys to make this book?
That's all Daniel.
What inspired me to make the book? I mean, really wanting to get across those concepts, you know, like I was talking earlier about the storm, and you know, I'm kind of a deep thinker, you know, and so like all these characters really are, you know, I guess like any author, really, you can only write what you see in the world, you know, so they're all sort of little reflections of myself in one form or another. So I don't know. I wanted to get across some of those larger concepts, and I was also thinking, you know, for my kids, Colin and Caitlin, and you know, like if there's something I can leave them, you know, nobody's promised tomorrow, so what can I do that would be there down the road? And so, you know, I thought a story would be a way of doing that. And yeah, like I said, I didn't know what that story was going to be. I mean, I've been sitting on this for probably a couple of years, just kind of going through things, and then it was in a car ride somewhere, and it just kind of popped in there, the idea of this apartment complex, because there was a lot of different philosophies that I was playing with, and I was like, how do you put all these into one story? Like, how do you get all these different characters in there and not have it just be too long, too drawn out? And so the idea of the apartment complex just popped in there, and I just went with it. I started writing. The first chapter I wrote was Mr. Basil, who's the artist, who I guess I relate most closely to. And yeah, just started going from there, and it almost wrote itself, as they say. But yeah, I mean, I did it because I wanted to get across a message. I want something to be entertaining. I want to do something creative because I enjoy creating, but I also want something of value. So I don't just want to put a fantasy story out there. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just me being who I am, I just wanted to get something, I don't know, deeper across. So I'm trying to do all those things in one package, and yeah, that was the idea.
Hey, Grandma, can you unmute?
Hold on, I may have muted her.
Okay,
there. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. No, I just wanted to say, I thought it was just a wonderful book in every way. I thought it was put together so wonderfully. And it was just from the very beginning of it, and with the illustrations and the whole thing. And it had so many parts to it, and just so many ideas in it, and all of the storms of life, and how he interacted with all of those different people. I thought it was just a terrific book, and congratulations to you and to the illustrator there. I just think it was very good, and thank you for letting me come and sit in on this today.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
Thanks, Grandma.
And I'm saying goodbye too. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Mel.
Hey.